Hello, this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. This video is for Willie in Oregon. And the unit here is the passenger side throttle body from SL600, 95 model. Okay, Willie, so I sent you a few other things before just to show you what was going on. Now, unit is finished and I got the connector done. And like I sent you a picture about this, this is yours. Because this whole piece, like from here on, was completely missing, so I made it the best way I could. I painted it over just so it looks the best it can look. Original connector would look like this. This is original, as you can see, very close to what original looks like. I made a little extension in the back so you can pull it if you need to. But also the ridges over here, these are for the lock. The lock like this. See, the original plug on the vehicle will have a plug like the lock. So when you plug in your throttle body back into the vehicle, you have to be able to close this all the way down. That will confirm that the connector inside is fully seated. Also, O-ring was missing, the one that is the orange O-ring, so I put another one on it as well. So that is that. The unit cleaned off quite well. As you can see, the unit, this is how it looks. So it looks pretty good. Yes, I did have to rebuild the motor because the motor was already seasoned up, and potentiometer, the brain itself, that had a problem, so I had to take it all apart and remove the brain, take brain apart. I had to replace one of the slider, put it all back together, grind it, polish, glue it, and put it back together. So, and that what was that? Well, the wires, I mean, I'm not talking about wires, were terrible. They were like just gone. But right now I have it connected to one of the e-gas modules that came from 140 chassis vehicle, but it's not critical because this is a bench test, so I don't really need to connect 129 chassis e-gas. This one will just do fine. This is another just the throttle because I have to have both units on the bench in order for slave unit to activate. Primary one I can activate, but whatever, we're talking about the slave, and primary unit activates the slave, so we need to have a primary unit connected to the e-gas to test the slave unit. Now, as you notice, it doesn't, both of these units do not open all the way. They don't open all the way because of the way the bench is set up. It's a standalone test. So, in terms of standalone, I mean that there is only throttle control module connected to units. There are no other computers, and in the vehicle, you know, you got a bunch of modules. You got the ASR, you got the base modules like these. The base modules, you got the ASR module. Where is this ASR? No, there is no ASR in there. But anyway, you got the ASR module, you got the LH modules. So all of them connected. They will allow unit to open all the way because other modules have to talk with e-gas module. Right now, for bench test purposes, this is just going to be fine because your unit, when it came, it physically could not be functioning regardless. It's like, if it worked or not, no, it couldn't physically work because of all these issues that I found and fixed in it. Okay, so just want to show you the operation. So as you can see, your unit activates when I move primary unit throttle linkage, so you can see it work. I also had to realign the plate, so there is just a little bit of space, and that's how it's supposed to be. Just a tiny bit of gap, because here, I mean, the plate cannot be binding. And yeah, so this one is good. Let's take a look at readouts. The readouts will change from unit to unit, and that's normal. As we see, primary unit 433, 4.29 on the secondary one. These values, they are by themselves. I never kind of made any kind of correlations between upper and lower values, this one and this one versus this one and this one. But fully open throttle, 1.99, 1.99, 4.5, 299. that is about where they all end up. You can, if you want to confirm, I mean, if you want to compare readouts, you can actually look at some of my other bench test videos of these throttle bodies, both of them connected with readings being shown. So that is fine. What's important is we need to have R2s more or less close to each other, because that way the engine is more or less balanced. So that's kind of important. It cannot be off. Also, if readings would have been way out of range, then units would have shut off because they're out of range. They have to be close to each other. So as you can see, this particular one is 200ths of a volt off. It's not a big deal because again, they will that's how they are. I mean, you know, you cannot have two exact units to give you two exact readings. So see here, the wide open throttle, they line up, which is fine. Like I said, you can watch some other videos if you want. Not really, you know, you don't really need to. This is just the way they are. Just put it that way. There is nothing can be done about that. I mean, there is something can be done, but I don't want to modify the actual. Well, long story short, no, you don't want to do it. I mean, these are all precision made, and the readouts are perfect, but most of units, pretty much all of them, are off, and not exactly same. So, but this is good. So we can see readings from both units. For example, what I can do, I'm going to induce a limp home mode right now. By doing that, I'm going to just disconnect your unit, which is right here. This is the secondary unit, right? So I'm gonna unplug yours. I'm gonna leave only the primary one. Boom. So now it is not fully in limp yet. As you can see, if this unit shuts off, our readings drop. Those rise. Right now it's not in fully limp because primary one still works. But if the engine would have been started, most likely this unit would have went into limp as well, because you see only primary readings change. Secondary unit readings do not change because unit is off. Well, I can plug it back in. It's not going to come on. I have to reset the whole system. But I'm just showing you a couple of possibilities what could happen, just to show you that the unit is working. So we got your plug. I put a little bit of oil at the end on the rubber O-ring because it's quite tight going in there. Okay, so when I plug it back in, readings came back, but obviously they do not change. Whereas primary unit readings change, as you can see on top. There goes, those readings change. Since this unit is off, readings are stationary for this unit. Also, if you notice, bottom reading on R1 pretty much equal. It's not right when the unit is off, of course. So let's re-energize everything. Readings will go away, unfortunately, but just wanted to reset the system, show it to you once more, and off it goes. There, when you put on the ignition, you will hear this clicking from both units. One will try to close, the other one will try to open. That's normal behavior, that's the way it's supposed to be, and that will basically check for throttles. Check the motors, check throttles, check everything, and that basically happens each and every time you turn on the ignition, and that's how it's supposed to be. If you receive this unit and you still do not get any kind of activation from this unit, then it would have been e-gas module of yours. We're not sure on that because, as you saw, wires were so bad, so there's no way of saying if it survived all these shorts. If it didn't survive all these shorts, then obviously it will need to be looked at. And also, we spoke about that before. If you had wires deteriorated so badly in a passenger side unit, there is a chance that the wires in a driver's side unit would have been deteriorated as well. So you can check them the same way as I always recommend. Just take the loom, find a spot, make an incision like this alongside. Be careful not to cut too deep because you can damage cables, and then open it up and look inside. And if you see wires are all being deteriorated, then you know what to do. That will be the next job, because the secondary unit might short out, and if e-gas module is alive, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to burn your e-gas. That's expensive and expensive to do, so you don't want to deal with that. So alright, so I guess I'll just finish this video on this note with all information given. Oh, one more thing. If you want to reuse the gasket, you can. It's not terrible. It's not, you know, it's not cracked, it's not broken. I sometimes do replace reuse them. This one hasn't been leaking anywhere, but it's a couple of dollars, so it's not expensive. You can just get gasket while you're waiting for this throttle body being delivered to you from New York from me. So you have a couple of days. You can just go to a dealer and just ask them for these gaskets. They're very cheap, very easy to change. And this one seemed to be glued to the actual throttle. I do not like gluing gaskets to throttles, because then you have to clean the surface very, very precisely. Well, at least that's what I do. And then you can install new gasket over. It's up to you, but like I said, for test purposes, if you want, you can even put a little bit of silicone, which I totally do not recommend doing. But this one, it's kind of reusable. It's not, you know, it's not completely gone. But I always change gaskets, pretty much, not always, but in 90% cases. Only like 10% cases when I need to take unit on and off real quick and the gasket was already replaced at some point, then I don't do it. Alright, so this is a very long video, so I guess we'll just finish at this, and it will be ready to be mailed to you tomorrow. Actually, tonight it will be it's ready to go, but post office is closed, so tomorrow is the time I can take it to post office. Alright, so this is all from me. This is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thanks for watching.